Well, it appears we're finally in the month of October, which means everyone goes all Spooks McDuck in an attempt to remain relevant, talking about horror games and all things scary in the spirit of Halloween. And what better way to get in the mood than to listen to some atmospheric video game music that startles my socks off. So for this list, I'll be taking a look at my top 10 most bone-chilling songs in video games. Now, I've tried to keep my choices more on the ambient side as much as possible, because let's face it, loud, obnoxious jump scare stabs don't compare to creepy music that makes you feel uncomfortable in your seat. And for the full experience, I recommend a good set of headphones and closing your eyes to allow your imagination to run wild. Let's start off with this track from Super Mario 64. While this may not be all that scary, allow me to remind you that this exists in a Mario game, a series known for happy and cheery walk through the park music. Now, the Mario series does have its fair share of spooky tracks, but this one just feels so out of place. I feel like I'm inside Bowser's tormented mind while this plays. I remember when I first heard this, I actually felt quite nervous about the new level I was trying, something no Mario game has ever been able to do for me. But the best part is, the man on the box tricks you into his family-friendly game, only for a trip through hell itself. Now, I don't know about you, but I've always found Kingdom Hearts to be absolutely torturous for the mind of a young child. These giant heartless gave me nightmares for years after I first played this game at the age of 8. Part of what makes this game so nerve-wracking for me is that for every creepy visual, there is an amazing piece of music to accompany it, for maximum spooky effect. I think for this list though, I'll go with the beginning music for the opening tutorial, purely as it's the first thing you get in the game. While this version of the song is primarily designed to scare off new players, it has a slight hint of courage to battle through the initial trials, which resonates with the main character Sora's story. That immersiveness combined with the unsettling church choir is what puts this song on the list. Oh my god, how the hell did this innocent game about running an amusement park turn into a terrifying sci-fi horror game? The space-style music you can choose to play in your park is actually an amazing atmospheric song. It makes me feel like I'm drifting through space with nobody to help me, and that is fucking scary in my opinion, with each new tone representing the screams of helpless victims. By this point, everyone knows the Crash Bandicoot series for having some of the most amazing music on the PlayStation 1, but the first game is normally left out of this statement, which really upsets me. Yes, the music in this game isn't as cheery as the later sequels, but that only makes it all the more real. Take the generator room for example. It's a black industrial abyss, and every single note in this track sounds like it's being created by your enemies in the distance. Clanging metallic objects and sounds of computers going haywire, appearing over a continuous drone. It feels like the heartbeat to Dr. Cortex's entire facility, and because of that, this level still sends chills down my spine whenever I play this. Okay, take everything I just said about the generator room music and put that here. I love these tracks for the same reasons, but Jak 2's prison escape ambience is much better at being ambient and making you feel nervous. We're not in a kid's game anymore. It makes you feel like you're in a prison. You can hear cell doors being slammed shut in the background and the cold breeze whistle through the dilapidated fortress. And again, it sets a tone that will follow you for the rest of the game. A feeling of crippling realism. And that's just the tutorial. Much like being trapped in a space as a corpse suspended in the atmosphere, what other desolate locations would you be scared to get lost in? A thick forest, underground, or underwater? Well, how about a desert infested with mutated creatures designed specifically to hunt you down? Impossible Creatures simulates that feeling perfectly with its desert theme, starting off with the constant noises of the earth moving beneath you to create new hazards, blended in with some brilliant didgeridoo work later on. It's really something that feels like it could belong in any horror game. It's hard to make music sound desolate and empty, while also filled to the brim with things to kill you at the same time, something this song does perfectly. The cavern levels in Donkey Kong Country always scared the hell out of me as a child. Whether it was limited visibility or having to hit switches to stop rock monsters from stomping you, there was always something constantly off-putting about them. The music. Much like some of the previous spots, you can hear miners working away in the distance, letting you know you're not alone, as they tease you to continue further into the mines. It gets your blood pumping so well, as the slightest poorly timed jump could hand you your fate, encasing you forever in its misty walls. The feeling of being followed or watched is something I think we can all agree on as being genuinely terrifying. And while there are so many genuinely terrifying tracks to pick from in Silent Hill, I had to go with this one. Walking through a strange town with poor visibility looking for a loved one is another common fear for many. As you get closer to the machine that is controlling you, the violent groaning of industrial machines kicks in and destroys everything that was once innocent about your soul. Futurama, the only fucking game, might not hold up as well as we'd like it to, but it still does a great job in the early levels. Third level in, we reach the abandoned subway, followed by the ruins of old New York, inhabited with these mutant dudes who want to blow your fucking head off. The music here had me shitting brass tricycles as a child. Be fucked if I ever wanted to play more after attempting this portion of the game. You just feel like you're being stalked by these creepy motherfuckers. You have skin and they want to eat it, which is a feeling only amplified by the music here. You know they're waiting for you around every corner in the shadows, and it still makes my skin crawl to this day. Now this list wasn't easy for me to compile as I'm no music expert and all of these songs are just so good and so spooky too. Although having said that, the top spot was an easy pick. However, before we take a listen to it, here are some honourable mentions. Holy shit, the hair on my arm just stood up, the chills ran down my spine and fear bitch slapped me right in the face. Of all the things to be scared of, what could be more terrifying than a decaying urban sprawl infested with murderers, rapists, Satanists and corrupt militia sent out with the sole intent to beat you to a pulp, cut you into pieces and then nail those pieces to a fucking cross? That is exactly what this atmospheric piece of music does to you. Manhunt is overflowing with amazing music like this, but Doorway to Hell, the second level in the game, has the best by far in my opinion. It strikes so much fear upon you that the first time I played this, I was shaking in my seat. I wish I was kidding. This gave me max anxiety when combined with the stealthy, life or death scenarios in the game. And the action version for when you're caught pumps so much adrenaline through your veins, it feels like your heart has escaped your body and left you for dead. And that's why this track gets the #1 spot. Well, that was my top 10 scariest songs in video games, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't feel safe being outside right now, so I'm going to go inside. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. I'm Square Eye Jack, and have a great fucking night. Thanks for listening.